Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. Senate queries NNPC over high cost of oil production. NCDC records 416 new cases of COVID-19. Total infections now 10,578. On business, federal government slashes FMS pump price. And on the international scene, Africa recorded over 144,700 COVID-19 cases. The Nigerian government has further relaxed the lockdown in the country due to COVID-19 pandemic by lifting the ban on the opening of churches and mosques. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on the Virus and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Mr. Bas Mustafa, announced this Monday at the daily briefing of the body in Abuja. PTF head stated that the latest measure is that the second phase of one gradual ease of the lockdown, which has lasted over 2 months. Mr. Bas Mustafa at the briefing, however, warned that the ban on interstate travel was still in place. Mr. Mustafa said relaxation of restriction on places of worship based on guidelines issued by the PTF and protocols agreed by the state government. Manage access to market and locations of economic activity to limit the risks of transmission. Ban on interstate travels except for the movement of agricultural produce, petroleum products, manufactured goods and essential services. Mandatory use of non-medical face masks in the public places. Members of the Senate Committee on Finance Monday queried the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) over what they described as very high cost of oil production in Nigeria. Also Monday, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, said even though recession is imminent as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government is already working to minimize its harsh effects. The senator spoke when the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, led head of revenue generating agencies to defend the revised 2020/2022 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper submitted to the National Assembly last week. The senators expressed worry over a situation where the cost of oil production was put at $22.2 per barrel and the price of crude oil in the revised budget was put at $25, which suggests a marginal profit of $3 for the country. Other revenue-generating agencies at the recession included the Nigerian Customs Service, Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS. In compliance with the federal government easing of the lockdown imposed to curb the spread of the coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic, Kano State government releases guidelines and established protocols on how to manage access to markets and locations of economic activity to limit the risks of transmission. The State Commissioner for Information, Malam Mohammed Garba, says in a statement that after due consultations with key public health professionals and critical review of the situation in Kano, market, places of worship and movement of persons are now allowed on Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. He says Governor Ganduje has therefore summoned an emergency meeting with market leaders on how to ensure strict observance of safety and preventive protocol in market and business places. The statement further emphasized that it is necessary for such places to ensure compliance with safety rules that include mandatory use of non-medical face masks, provision of hand-washing facilities, sanitizers, and extensive temperature checks. The federal government of Nigeria has adjusted curfew hours across the country to 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. This follows some new measures taken by the federal government towards total relaxation of lockdown due to coronavirus pandemic. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, announced this Monday in Abuja at the daily briefing of the special panel. He announced that the measure, just like approval for the reopening of worshipping places, take effect from Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. He said effective from Tuesday, 2nd June 2020, the easing of the lockdown will be characterized by the nationwide curfew to remain in place, but the timing of this will be reduced to 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And just to clarify, the purpose of the curfew is to limit social interactions and therefore reduce the risk of transmission of the virus. On banks, Dr. Aliyu announced that the financial sector's full operations will take effect from Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. There will be full opening of the financial sector, with banks now allowed to operate normal working hours 5 days a week. Similarly, the local flights are scheduled to resume operations Sunday, 21st June 2020. Dr. Aliyu said the aviation industry is requested to start developing protocols to allow for domestic flights to resume anytime from the 21st of June onwards. Airlines must ensure physical distancing by reducing passengers' capacity and ensure the provision of sanitizers and personal protective equipment, as well as carrying out temperature checks at the point of entry and departure, and ensure that airports are not congested by either travelers or airport staffs. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) on Monday recorded 416 new cases of coronavirus in the country, bringing the total number of infections in Nigeria to 10,578. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that the NCDC on its official Twitter handle said that 3,122 out of the 10,578 total infections have been discharged, with 299 losing their lives. The agency said that 12 new patients were confirmed dead to the virus in the country on Monday. It explained that most of the fatalities recorded from COVID-19 were cases with other underlying illnesses known as comorbidities. It stated that no new state had reported a case in the last 24 hours. The health agency's data showed that Monday's new cases were spread across 19 states and the FCT, with Lagos accounting for the highest number of the infections. The 416 new cases are reported from 20 states: Lagos 192, Edo 41, Rivers 33, Kaduna 30, Kwara 23, Nasarawa 18, Borno 17, FCT 14, Oyo 10, Katsina 7, Abia 5, Delta 5, Adamawa 4, Kano 4, Imo 3, Ondo 3, Benue 2, Bauchi 2, Ogun 2, Niger 1. The NCDC said that till date, 10,578 cases have been confirmed, 7,157 active cases, 3,122 cases have been treated and discharged, and 299 that have been recorded in 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Federal Capital Territory (FCT) on Monday launched its community policing initiative with the inauguration of 16 member state community policing advisory committee. Minister of the FCT, Malam Muhammad Bello, expressed optimism that with the presidential approval granted for the implementation of community policing, Nigerians will begin to see a reduction in crime rate. It is essential to remind them that community policing is a strategy that is anchored on trust between the people and the security officers. Once there is a trust deficit in any guise or form, the workability of this policy becomes highly diminished, and we will have lost a great opportunity in improving the security profile of the territory. The Federal Inland Revenue Services (FIRS) says Nigerians will pay stamp duties on WhatsApp messages, SMS, and messages via any electronic platform acknowledging receipt of funds. The Revenue Service, according to a report by the Cable, also stated that stamp duties will be paid on POS receipts, fiscalized device receipts, automated teller machine ATM printouts. According to a circular published by the agency, Nigerians will also be required to pay stamp duties on SMS acknowledging receipt of funds. The Katsina State Governor, Alhaji Aminu Bello Masari, has ordered for the suspension of recruitment of new staff, promotion of all forms of staff in both state and unified local government services. The governor also suspended the initiation of all forms of new capital projects except in a very critical sphere of public need. This is contained in a circular dated 22nd of May from the Office of the Head of Service and sent by Katsina Post. These decisions, according to the circular, is due to the challenges posed by COVID-19 on the state. The circular says, sequel to the collapse of the global oil market due to the challenges posed by COVID-19, the Katsina State Government has directed for the review of the State 2020 approved budget and approved other measures to conform with the current economic reality. On business, Fawzia Ibrahim has more details.
Hello there, welcome to Standard Voice Television Business Updates. The Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA) on Monday announced the reduction of the pump price of the premium motor spirits (PPPRA) to a band of 121.50 to 123 per litre. According to its guidelines price for this month, the ex-depot price band is 100.13 and 108.13 per litre, while ex-depot for collection is 108.78 and 111.78 per litre. In a memo, the agency urged marketers to operate within the indicative prices. Approved pricing regime, which became effective 19 March 2020, and the provision for the establishment of a monthly price band within which petroleum marketers are expected to sell PMS at the retail stations with today's global currency exchange rates. We started with United States dollar, which exchanged to the Naira at 387 official rates, while the British pound is 485 Naira official rates. The Euro is today exchanged at 483.50 Naira, and the Japanese yen is today 3.57 Naira, while the Chinese yuan is 54.45 Naira. And that's all on the business updates. I am Fawzia Ibrahim. Have a nice day.
And on the international scene, the World Health Organization (WHO) on Monday reported that COVID-19 cases in Africa as at June 1st had risen to over 144,700. The WHO Regional Office for Africa in Brazzaville, Congo, gave the update on its official Twitter handle. There are over 144,700 confirmed COVID-19 cases on the African continent, with more than 61,100 recoveries and 4,100 deaths. The figures show that South Africa, Nigeria and Algeria have the highest reported cases on the continent. According to the report, South Africa has 32,683 cases and 683 deaths, followed by Nigeria with 10,162 confirmed cases and 287 deaths, while Algeria has 9,394 confirmed cases and 653 deaths. It said Ghana had 7,881 reported cases and 36 deaths, while Cameroon recorded 5,904 confirmed cases and 191 deaths. Still on the international scene, a military police Humvee blocked the street in downtown as demonstrators protest during a protest over the death of George Floyd in Washington, D.C. on June 1, 2020. President Donald Trump vowed to order a military crackdown on once-a-generation violent protests gripping the United States, saying he was sending thousands of troops onto the streets of the capital and threatening to deploy soldiers to states unable to regain control. The dramatic escalation came a week after the death in Minneapolis of George Floyd, an unarmed black man who was killed when a white police officer knelt on his neck, leading to the worst civil unrest in decades in New York, Los Angeles, and dozens of other American cities. After being criticized for his silence on the worsening crisis, Trump struck a martial tone in a nationwide address Monday from the White House garden as police fired tear gas on peaceful protesters outside the fence. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Senate queries NNPC over high cost of oil production. NCDC records 416 new cases of COVID-19. Total infections now 10,578. On business, federal government slashes FMS pump price. And on the international scene, Africa recorded over 144,700 COVID-19 cases. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Alhaji Ibrahim Grabatunau, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.